These seals are really powerful. I don't think that we can open them, baby. Wow, is it really you? You can't stop seeing me, not even after a generation, eh?
I have no choice. There are just some children who need a lot of attention. Hello, Ergo. You can't complain. This time you got a real beauty. There's no comparison to the previous bearers.
Nah, she's just a crybaby. You and your eyes are still my favorites.
Are you trying to hit on me again?
Just until it works.
Sorry for ruining your date. Is it possible for one of you to tell me what's happening?
We meet at last, Bearer of Calamities. Sorry for my lack of respect.
Glad you know who I am. Unfortunately, I still don't know who you are, creature.
You don't know? For real? Pathetic. This creature, as you call her, is who, against all odds, managed to deceive and seal the most powerful monster which has ever walked the world.
You won't say it was you, right, little book?
You are Elianai Grimoire, the founder of Nathaniel, the first amongst the great saints. You're the woman who sealed Ergo in the Book of the Void.
Well, more or less. I'm happy to meet you.
Forgive my rudeness. I didn't anticipate anything good from one of Ergo's acquaintances.
I can't blame you for that. Also, my appearance is not exactly reassuring.
Are you dead?
I am as alive as you, but my body is in stasis due to some problems in the past. What you see now is just a spiritual projection that my mind, awake only for short periods of time, can generate.
What's happening, Ellie? Even if I know I am irresistible to you, I know you're not here for me. For you to get personally involved in something is not a good sign.
I'm not here of my own accord. Something called me, and I'm not alone. Just as you are, there are things gathering in this tower. Entities with real power. Some are already here, and others, they are still coming. I don't know what it was, but one of the worst ones was just at the end of where I met you. But I think that it already left.
Are you kidding me? Should I remind you who you're talking to? I can blow up this whole place with one finger.
I can feel how weak you are, Ergo. It's useless to hide it from me. I've never seen you like this. In your current condition, I'm not even convinced you're going to be fine. Or if she will, for that matter.
My lady, you don't need to worry about me. I have a mission to accomplish entrusted to me by the Supreme Inquisitor.
Bearer, I know the artifact you're looking for very well. It's a book written by my sister with her own blood. I can assure you, it's not our priority now. I still don't understand the scope of what's happening and where we are. I tried to reach some of these entities, but without success. It seems that access to them is somehow closed. There are different seals somehow linked with fragments of their essence. Maybe if we could obtain some of them. but I...
What's happening?
I am unsure. Sorry. I don't think I can sustain this form much longer.
Ellie!
You should... Sorry.
Wait! Damn.
Don't worry. She will be fine. She's a tough one. We will see.
Okay, let's go. Let's meet those things.
That sounds nice. A mansion?
Look at all those puppets. They seem almost alive.
Yeah, this looks like a haunted house. I hope that they move and attack us or something. That would be so cool.
Ugh. Solomon Magitek. Science of the Lost Times?
Unusual. It's not something you expect to see in a place like this.
Now magical golems from Solomon?
Yeah, this mansion is full of surprises. You see? Living evil puppets! Hell yeah!
Oh, shut up! They say that 1 in every 1,000 people is special, and 1 in every million, an unparalleled genius. Nascal Mayorim is 1 in a billion. Since childhood, he showed an inordinate talent to create, a skill that surpassed even the greatest masters of the world. With such a gift, there was never any doubt that, if he wanted, he could have become anything that he desired. But Nascal did not care for such things, for his only passion was the marionettes. When he was a little boy, his parents took him to a theater, where he saw for the first time what would become his obsession. These simple figures of wood and metal, artificial beings posing as people fascinated him in an incomprehensible way. And it was then, at such an early age, he decided to devote his life to them. Year after year, Nazcal learned everything about their construction and handling, developing unique methods to give them more realism and mobility. With time, his works became incomparable, so perfect that it was difficult to distinguish them from living beings. His marionettes were valued as masterworks and appreciated everywhere. And only now, upon turning 25, is Nazcal truly pleased. Everyone recognizes that he is the greatest artist in the world. There is so much suffering here. Nazcal entered the hall where the Council of Brax was taking place. The greatest artists and creators of the world met once every decade under those walls. Different civilizations, even non-human creatures were there to show the wonders they had created over the years. Naturally, only the very best could attend, those whose fame had crossed all frontiers. For many of them, just having been invited represented an honor, but to Nazcal, it was quite the opposite. They should feel honored by his attendance. The puppet master walked through the room, trying to pass unnoticed. He paid little attention to several uninspired works that only reminded him of why he was superior to everyone else. Nazcal smiled ruefully. Although he did not expect too much from others, he had wished to find something to at least rival with his talent. Lost in those thoughts, a distant word caught his attention. Someone had mentioned Gaudeamus, the creator of wonders, whose fame had reached even Nazcal's ears. Apparently, he had also been invited, and a group of people were talking to him not too far away. Interested by his fame, Nazcal approached him to share some anecdotes with a fellow genius. To his surprise, the legendary creator was much younger than he had expected, and was quick to shake his hand and exchange a polite greeting. Nazcal was about to ask about the works he was exhibiting in the council, when the whole room became silent. Everyone whispered that Gaudeamus had just arrived. At that moment, the confused Nazcal understood what they meant, and a chill of terror ran through his spine. The person he was talking with was not a living being, but a doll. Work of Gaudeamus was what he had heard the people say before. Even if it was only for a moment, the mere idea that he had not noticed such a thing overwhelmed the mind of the puppet master. Frantically, his eyes began to gaze closely at all the works exhibited by Gaudeamus. The mere sight of them burned his retinas, but at the same time, he was unable to look away. The feeling of anxiety that oppressed his chest grew until it became pain. He even had trouble breathing in the same room that stored such wonders. Unable to wait any more, he staggered out of the room and did not stop running until he was outside. Then, Nazcal cried and laughed as hard as he could. He had been blind all this time. In his egotism, he thought he was on top of the world when he was only standing on a small hill. Only in that moment did he realize that his work was far from having reached its full potential. That night would change his life completely. He would create greater works. He would surpass Gaudeamus, surpass them all. From that moment, his obsession would be perfection. The entity linked to this place is a psycho. Nazcal suddenly awoke. For months, he had been unable to sleep well, and that night had been particularly bad, something which he blamed on the emotion of being so close to finishing his work. Washing his face, he noticed how terrible he looked in the mirror, and thought that very soon he would have to be ready to return to society. Nazcal was unsure of how much time had passed since he had visited the Council of Brax. After that night, he invested his vast fortune in creating a secluded mansion away from the civilized world. A huge and well-equipped workshop in which he could devote body and soul to his work, free from distractions. It had been years, or maybe even decades, since the last time he had contact with another human being. But loneliness meant little to him. All that mattered was that he was close to reaching his goal. Over the years, just improving his creative talent wasn't enough for Nazcal. His goal was much higher. He devoted day after day to research the same process Gaudemus developed to make his works, becoming an unrivaled expert in lost science and supernatural rituals. With such unusual tools, he managed to create countless animated puppets, which were able to move by themselves, the very ones that now protected his mansion and took care of its maintenance. But they were all just prototypes for his definitive work, the ultimate puppet. An artificial being so perfect, it would not be aware that it was not alive. Nazcal solemnly went down to the heart of his workshop, where his most valued masterpiece waited for him. On the table was a body. Any observer would think without a doubt that it was a true human being. It had the same appearance as its creator, as identical as 2 drops of water. The master puppeteer smiled. In his next encounter with Gaudemus, it would be his marionette that greeted him. An ironic joke that only he would be able to understand. After reviewing the status of the project for hours, Nazcal determined that it was only a matter of days until it was finished. Only a few pieces were missing, which should be stored in his secondary workshop. With unusual anxiety, he walked to the north wing in search of them. It had been a long time since he had visited that area of the mansion, and he was not even really sure of why he stopped going there. Upon entering the room, the master puppeteer was struck by the terrible state of the place. He didn't remember having forsaken it for so long. Without giving it too much thought, Nazcal walked to where the pieces were stored, but he saw something in his way which puzzled him. There, sitting in the workshop, was a corpse, holding the parts Nazcal had come for. His flesh, rotted and dried, was in pretty bad shape, suggesting that it had been in that place for a long time. Surprised, Nazcal approached to examine the body, but before he could do so, the puppet master became completely paralyzed with terror. Because, despite being worn and wasted, there was no doubt. The corpse had exactly the same face as him.
These seals are really powerful. I don't think that we can open them, baby.
Bearer of calamities, I felt your presence.
Lord Romeo?
Exet, are you kidding, babe? The damn Supreme Inquisitor here?
Shut up!
I am outside the building. Our forces, our armies, Nathaniel, the Inquisition, they are all here. I used all my power to create this gap that allows us to communicate, but it is unstable. We must be brief.
Milord, lady, she's dead. And the artifact is still missing. But it's just a matter of time before I...
Silence. What is happening is much more serious than you think. Far more than any of us ever thought. Just one person predicted it. And now we're too late. The whole world is in chaos. Many of the rules of reality are breaking. And this place is the source of everything.
I'm sorry, my lord. I don't understand.
The book you had to recover, the Biblos, was a collection of prophecies made by Herael Grimoire. They described certain conditions that would cause the end of the world. The object itself was unimportant. What mattered was the content. According to her omens, when a certain number of unique entities were reunited, they would bring about the end of all existence. For centuries, we have called these creatures the Messengers of the End, a suitable name for those who are considered the harbingers of the world's destruction. However, we never exactly understood all the intricacies of the prophecy, nor were able to locate all of the messengers. Until now.
My lord?
They are coming, bearer of calamities. Many are already here. This place is attracting the messengers to its core. We don't know how or why, but these creatures are meeting here for the first time. But we cannot enter. The tower is not in the same reality I am, where any of us are. Before me, there are only ruins and desolation. But you are already inside, which only means one thing. You are the last resort we have. You are my weapon, the darkness that devours darkness, my instrument of destruction. Find them, annihilate them, all of them, or the world will not see many more sunrises. We will try to stop them here before they arrive, but many will enter through the crevices between realities. Now go, Hunter of Shadows. You have much to do. There is no time to talk, Bearer of Calamities. You have your orders. Destroy the messengers.
Romeo! Romeo! Wherefore art thou, shithead Romeo? If that thing says something like, it's dangerous to go alone, I will kill him.
Welcome to this, my humble room. My name is Velez. It is a pleasure for me to meet such distinguished guests. A monster without fate, and a young lady who has lost everything. Calm down, you have nothing to fear. I'm not an enemy. Though I suppose I would not consider myself an ally either. I am neither a memory nor a guest of the tower. You could say I'm a simple intermediary.
He speaks the truth, baby. I feel no hostility from him. In fact, I don't feel anything from him at all.
I know, but I can't help being uneasy. There's something strangely familiar about him. Velez was your name, right? Excuse me if I was rude. The truth is that it's been a difficult day.
Do not worry, my dear. Under the circumstances, it's logical that you are confused. You're not the only one here who feels this way. If you mean the tower, it has many names, but I think that it would be appropriate to call it Arcane, a place where the real world and the dream are part of the same side of the coin. The chamber, as I told you before, is Labyrinthos, my humble home. If you mean the tower, the chamber... Me? I'm just a mere intermediary between guests and the world. I am not allowed to interfere. That is what the rules of the existence dictate. I won't help you, nor will I stand in your way. Me? I am not... If you are here, you were chosen. You, a monster without fate, and the one who has lost everything, you can choose. Choose what? Your eyes ask, even when your lips have not yet moved. Everything. There are no limits. Such is my task. You can obtain everything or nothing, as long as you exchange it for something of equal value. Of course, they, the same as you, are moving too. Many of them are also invited to Labyrinthos. Or at least, those who are real. But excuse me, I may have already said too much, and I should not ignore the rules. I couldn't say. There are rules, and my limits are inside this room. I can only say that this is an old story that is about to end. A tale that is just waiting for all the actors in the play to be placed where they belong. If what you seek is something material, I have for you a long list of artifacts that perhaps you may find interesting. In return, unless you have something more interesting, I'll be happy to use as currency the fragments of existence of those that you have destroyed. If what you seek is in return,